Hi there, welcome back to another breakdown of investing. My name is Levi. Let's get into it. I think I'd like to share about inflation. Why do we invest? We invest not only to free up the time that it takes to make a paycheck and you're basically still finding yourself unable to pay for things or afford things or get through life with your bills and your rent and your food and all the other costs of insurance and all sorts of stuff. The reason behind why it's so hard to make your money get as much as it used to years ago when your parents and your grandparents used to get the same amount on their paycheck, virtually the same amount for the job that they were working, is because of inflation. Inflation is what is eating away every year at the value of our currency, like the dollar, $5, $10, $20, $500, $1,000, doesn't matter. Every so often, it just loses value. And I want to say incrementally every year, it's just inevitably losing value. So what $20 used to get you 35 years ago is not what $20 can get today. And in 35 years, what you can get with $20 is not going to be as much as what $20 can get you today. Because inflation doesn't stop. It just kind of keeps going. And I'll tell you why. Back in World War II, we had a president. I don't really care about names. All I know is this guy. I think it was Kennedy. I might be wrong. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm not a history buff. But this is an important piece of history, I think. So, inflation started when we had World War II. World War II broke out. The United States wanted to get involved. We had to get involved. The only thing is that we needed to have money in order to get our troops there, fed, clothed, and artillery and all sorts of other crap like medical, etc. Right? We needed the money. So the president asked the United States citizens to turn in their precious metals, which was the standard currency back then, like gold and silver. So they turned in their gold and silver to the local banks, and the banks funneled that into the war efforts. Now, in exchange for your grandparents and great-grandparents or whatever, it's like gold and silver, they were given paper money, banknotes, IOUs essentially, silverbacks, gold-backed paper bonds, etc. That's kind of where those started going into circulation, is because it was like an IOU. We promised that when the war is over, you can just give us back this paper money and we will give you back your physical metal, which is not inflationary. So the president had a wonderful plan. This was gonna work. You know, I can see it was like a brilliant execution of this way to utilize the country's assets and make sure that the war efforts were successful. And then there seems if you were to go back to your bank and hand them your coin, they would give you, if you were to hand them your paper note, right, they'd give you back your coins, and then you would have non-inflation United States again. The only issue is that president was assassinated before we could go back to the gold standard. And that's where all hell broke loose with the financial character of the United States. Please do your own research on this. I believe I'm right. I don't know you, you don't know me, but I swear this is history. And look into it, and if you do and come back and you find more nerd facts on it, please enlighten me, because this historical event has got me like into investing hard because I understand that inflation, it is not going away. What I learned through my dig is that the moment that we got switched off of physical assets and in exchange we are now trading paper money, is that because you can print money, printing money is like typing numbers into a computer. So you can just add a bunch of zeros, or they can add a bunch of zeros, and that's printing it. Every time that they print money, it loses value. Like, our money doesn't have the same strength that it used to because there's more in circulation. It's almost like the more gold that there is found and excavated from the earth, the less value it has because there's just more out there. Like if there's like for instance, in another video I showed an asteroid rock, and I was like, hey man, like if there's an asteroid that fell on the earth thousands of years ago, it's very unlikely that they're gonna find any more than has already been found. So like I like it because there's a cap on how many are gonna surface. But with our money, they just keep printing it because there's just so much debt. And I mean, like, it's no surprise that the United States is in a lot of debt. And I don't want to get into that. Other than the fact that, like, in order to solve the problem, the government has to continue printing. And every time they print, we get deeper and deeper into this inflationary, devaluing dollar. And so in order to get ahead of it, that's why I suggest, and a lot of people suggest, deciding to buy assets. Assets are things that appreciate over time instead of devaluing over time. Because if I make $5,000 and I put it into my bank account and I pull it out in 10 years, the same $5,000, it's not worth $5,000 anymore. That's just facts. It might say $5,000, but what it can get me is not going to be the same. It's going to be a lot less. So just think about getting invested into something that appreciates over time instead of losing value over time. And that's all I got to say for this one. Have a good day. Take the bench. Take control of your life. Reclaim your time. Bye.